Hello everybody and welcome to chapter 25 of the book of Shemot as we continue to travel through Tanach. Chapter 25 has 40 verses and it marks the beginning of Parshas Terumah, and it starts in the Koren Sachs Chumash on page 536 and 537. After spending considerable time in the book of Shemot on the narrative of the Exodus from Egypt, and then into the granular details of the covenant that we were forming with the mitzvot that we are supposed to be adhering to, the Torah now shifts in another direction, and for the next few chapters we will be talking about the construction of the Mishkan. The Mishkan, which is often translated as a tabernacle, may be more easily understood as a portable temple, and it is a central and focal point of the development of Bnei Israel, of the Jewish people, throughout the years in the desert, and latterly into their time as they move into the land of Israel. So what exactly is the Mishkan, and why is it so central? Well, on the one hand, it's a physical structure, it's a portable temple that travels with Bnei Israel through the desert, but at a deeper level, it's answering a fundamental question. After the spiritual high of Mount Sinai, how will Hashem remain present in the world and remain present in the hearts and lives of the Jewish people? At Mount Sinai, the people experienced something overwhelming, a divine revelation, a moment of clarity. But that moment doesn't last. Life continues. So the Mishkan becomes the answer. The Jewish people will be commanded to make a sanctuary so that Hashem can dwell among the Jewish people. The Mishkan takes something abstract, a relationship with Hashem, and gives it form and space and consistency. It creates a place where people can come close, where service can take place, and the presence of Hashem is felt in a consistent way. But perhaps the most powerful idea is this: the Mishkan is built by the people. Every material is donated. Every element comes from them, which means the presence of Hashem is not imposed, but rather something that we invite. To really understand the Mishkan, it helps to picture it, and over the next few chapters, hopefully we will be able to accomplish that and achieve that together, because the Mishkan is not just a collection of objects, but it is a structured space, which gets holier and holier the further inside you go. Although we won't read about it in this chapter, there was an outer courtyard. This was the most public space, and where the main activity of offerings and sacrifices would take place. Then there was a main tent structure known as the Ohel Moed, which was divided into two sections. The first section, the Kodesh, which is a holy space, in which you would find the menorah, which was a golden 7-branched candelabra, the Shulchan, which was a golden table which held loaves of bread, and the incense altar, a golden altar as well, on which they would offer incense with a very specific recipe. And then there would be a curtain which would separate the Kodesh from the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. And in here there was only one item, the Aron, the golden ark, which contained the tablets. Hopefully our understanding of the Mishkan will develop as we go through the next few chapters, but this chapter will focus on the initial call for donations to be given, and these donations were meant to be given voluntarily. This was not given as a tax. And then we will move into detailed instructions for some of the key elements, and in this chapter we will focus on the Aron, the golden ark, the Shulchan, the golden table, and the menorah, the 7-branched golden candelabra hammered out from one piece of solid gold. There are only 3 mitzvot in the whole of Parshas Terumah, and they actually appear in this chapter. 2 of them are positive, and 1 is negative. There's the mitzvah of building the Beis HaBechira, the chosen house, which in this case is the Mishkan, but as history develops, it will be the Holy Temple as well. There's a negative prohibition that when it comes to the Golden Ark, we will read about poles which were attached to the Ark so that the Kohanim could carry it, and there was a prohibition. They were not allowed to remove the poles from this Ark. And then there's also the mitzvah of arranging the shulchan, arranging the loaves of bread to be displayed every single day. With all that introduction in mind, let us turn to chapter 25, verse 1. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, Hashem spoke to Moshe saying. Verse 2, Daber el Bnei Israel, speak to the children of Israel, V'yikchu li truma, and let them take for me truma. Truma is an offering, a donation. And there is lots to say on this phrase. Because ordinarily you give a donation, you do not take a donation. And there are many beautiful insights into this, but we will see that it is all connected to the intention that the Bnei Yisrael was supposed to have when contributing towards the building of this project. So v'yikchu li truma, take an offering, take a donation for me. Me'es kol ish, from every person, asher yidvenu libo, whose heart motivates him. Tikchu es terumasi, you shall take my teruma, my portion. Verse 3, V'zos ha-teruma asher tikchu meitam, these are the offerings that you shall receive from them. And it's going to list now all of the different items that were needed to be able to build this Mishkan. Zahav, gold, vachesef, and silver, unchoshes, and copper. Verse 4, there were also some different wools that had to be dyed in different colours. Uscheles, a turquoisey coloured wool. Va'argaman, a purple coloured wool. V'solas shani, and a scarlet wool. V'sheish v'izim, as well as linen and goat's hair. Verse 5, there were also animal skins. Va'oros elim ma'adamim, ram skins which were dyed red. Va'oros tachashim, and tachash skin. Tachash is an extremely rare and unique type of material that was only used for this purpose. Va'atzei shitim, and acacia wood. Verse 6, shemen lama'or, oil for illumination. Besamim l'shemen hamishcha, spices for the anointment oil. V'liktoras hasamim, as well as the besamim, the spices, for the fragrant incense. Verse 7, avnei shoham, shoham stones, va'avnei miluim, and other precious stones which would be set into the la'ephod v'lachoshen, the ephod and the breastplate, which we won't learn about for another few chapters yet. Verse 8, va'asu li mikdash v'shochanti b'socham, they shall make me a sanctuary, and I will dwell in their midst. And our rabbis point out that the verse says b'socham, within you, rather than b'socho, within it. And the reason is that we shouldn't make the mistake of thinking that we are creating a physical space for essentially a physical God to inhabit, but rather by creating this space as a way of interacting with Hashem, we are paving the way to feel Hashem's presence in our lives. Verse 9, Kachol asher ani mar'eh osacha, like everything that I show you, es tavnis ha-mishkan, the form of the tabernacle, the form of the Mishkan, the portable temple, es tavnis kol kelav, and the form of all its vessels and all its furnishings, v'chein ta'asu, and so shall you do. Verse 10, now we come to talk about the construction of the ark. V'asu aron atzei shitim, make an ark out of acacia wood. Amasayim v'chetzi arka, 2.5 amot, 2.5 cubits. An amah is about the length of a forearm, so 2.5 amot is approximately 1.5 meters. V'ama v'chetzi rachbo, 1.5 amot width. V'ama v'chetzi komasom, 1.5 cubits in height. Verse 11, v'tzipisa oso zahav tahor, you shall cover it with pure gold. Mibai sumichutz titzapenu, from within and from without shall you cover it. V'asisa alav zer zahav saviv, and you shall make on it a gold crown, a gold rim, all around. So essentially this is 3 boxes that were placed inside each other, an outer golden layer, then the wooden box, and then another golden layer on the inside. Verse 12, Yotzakta lo arbar tabos zahav, cast 4 gold rings for it, v'nosata ala bar pamosav, and place them on its 4 corners. Ushtei tabaos al tzalo ha'echas, 2 rings on one side. Ushtei tabaos al tzalo ha'shenis, and 2 rings on the second side. Verse 13, Va'asisa vadei atzei shitim, and you shall make staves, poles of acacia wood, v'tzipisa osam zahav, and cover them with gold. Verse 14, V'hevesai sabadim b'tabaos, and insert the staves, the poles, into the rings, al tzalos ha'aron, on the sides of the ark, la'seis ha'aron bahem, so that the ark may be carried. Verse 15, B'tabaos ha'aron yihiyu habadim, the poles must stay in the rings of the ark, lo yasuru mimenu, they must not be removed. Verse 16, V'nosata el ha'aron, and inside the aron you shall place es ha'edus asher etein elecha, the tablets of the covenant that I will give you. Verse 17, talking about the cover for the aron, Va'asisa kapores zahav tahor, make an ark cover of pure gold, amasayim v'chetzi arka, 2.5 amot long, v'ama v'chetzi rachba, and 1.5 amot wide. Verse 18, v'asisa shnayim kruvim zahav, and you shall make 2 kruvim of gold, which in English we translate as cherubs, but they are these angelic figures that would be fashioned. Miksha ta'asosam, you shall hammer them out to make them. Mishnei ketzos hakaporos, at the 2 ends of the cover. Verse 19, va'asei kruv echad mikatzam mizeh, make 1 kruv from the end at one side, uchruv echad mikatzam mizeh, and 1 kruv from the end at the other. Min hakaporos ta'asu es hakruvim al shnei ketzosav, from the cover shall you make the kruvim at its 2 ends. Verse 20, v'hayu hakruvim parsei chnafayim lemala, the kruvim should have wings spread upwards, sochachim b'chanfeihem al hakaporos, sheltering the cover with their wings, ufneihem ish el achiv, with their faces towards one another, el hakaporos yihiyu pnei hakruvim, toward the cover shall be the faces of the kruvim. Verse 21, v'nosatais hakaporos al ha'aron milamala, you shall place the cover on the ark from above, ve'el ha'aron titenes ha'idus asher etein elecha, and inside the ark shall you place the tablets of the covenant that I will give you. Verse 22, V'noadati lecha sham, I will meet with you there, v'dibarti etecha, and I will speak to you, me'al hakaporos, from above the cover, mibein shnei hakruvim, between the 2 kruvim, asher al aron ha'idus, above the ark of the testimony, es kol asher atzaveh ersecha el bnei Yisrael, and give you all my commands to the children of Israel. Verse 23, we start to talk about the golden table. Va'asisa shulchan atzei shitim, you shall make a table of acacia wood, amasayim arko, 2 amos in length, va'ama rachbo, and 1 amma in width, va'ama v'chetzi kamaso, and 1.5 amot in height. Verse 24, v'tzipisa oso zahav tahor, you shall overlay it with pure gold, va'asisa lo zer zahav saviv, and you shall make for it a gold crown, a gold rim all around. Verse 25, va'asisa lo misgeres tofach saviv, you shall make a frame a handbreadth wide all around, va'asisa zer zahav lemisgarto saviv, and around the frame you shall also make a gold rim. Verse 26, va'asisa lo arba tabos zahav, and you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, ve'nosata es hatabaos al arba hapayos, and place the rings upon the 4 corners, asher la'arba raglav, where the 4 legs are. Verse 27, le'umas hamiskeres tihiyena hatabaos, the rings should be attached next to the frame, levatim levadim la'seses hashulchan, as holders for the poles to carry the table. Verse 28, va'asisa es habadim atzei shitim, you shall make the poles of acacia wood, v'tzipisa osam zahav, and overlay them with gold, v'nisavam es hashulchan, and the table shall be carried through them. And don't forget, everything needs to be carried because everything needs to be portable. This Mishkan is going to be accompanying the Bnei Yisrael through all of their travels in the desert. Verse 29, Va'asisa ka'arosav, you shall make the dishes, v'chaposav, and the spoons, uksosav, and the shelving tubes or the pitchers, umanakiosav, and the jars, asher yusach bahen, which will be used for pouring libations, which we'll come to explain as the chapters go on. Zahav tahor ta'aseh osam, out of pure gold shall you make them. Verse 30, v'nosata ala shulchan, and on the table you shall place lechem panim, showbread, lefanai tamid, which will be placed before me at all times. As we will come to see, there were 12 loaves of bread which were always on display in the Mishkan. Verse 31, we talk about the golden menorah. Va'asisa menorahs zahav tahor, you shall make a menorah of pure gold, miksha te'aseh hamenorah, hammered out from a single piece, yurecha, its base, v'kana, its shaft, gavieha, its cups, kaftareha, its knobs, ufracheha, its blossoms, mimena yihiyu, should be made from it. Verse 32, v'shisha kanim yotzim mitzideha, 6 branches shall emerge from its sides, shlosha knei menorah mitzida echad, 3 branches on one side, ushlosha knei menorah mitzida hasheni, and 3 branches on the other side. Verse 33, shlosha gaviyim meshukadim b'kanei ha'echad, on each branch there shall be 3 finely crafted cups, kaftor vaferach, each with a knob and a flower, ushlosha geviyim meshukadim b'kaneh ha'echad, and on the other side 3 finely crafted cups, kaftor vafarach, each with a knob and a flower, kein l'sheshes akanim hayotzim min ha'menorah. All 6 branches extending from the menorah shall be like this. Verse 34 of Menorah, and on the menorah, meaning the main stem, the main shaft of the menorah, arba geviyim, shall be 4 cups, meshukadim, finely crafted, finely engraved, and this word meshukadim is connected to the word shkedim, like almonds, kaftareha ufracheha, each with a knob and a flower. Verse 35, v'chaftor tachas shnei hakanim mimena, a knob shall be under the 2 branches from it, v'chaftor tachas shnei hakanim mimena, and a knob under 2 of the branches from it, v'chaftor tachas shnei hakanim mimena, and a knob under 2 of the branches from it, l'sheshes hakanim hayotzim min ha'menorah, for the 6 branches emerging from the menorah, meaning that the 6 branches that extend from the central stem of the menorah, there had to be a knob at the base of each pair of branches. Verse 36, kaftorehem uknosam mimena yihiyu, their knobs and branches shall be of it, kula miksha achas zahav tahor, all of it, a single hammered piece of pure gold. It would have taken some master craftsmanship to be able to produce the menorah in this delicate, beautiful and intricate way. And in fact, there are disagreements as to what the precise shape of the menorah would be. We will probably be familiar with the very rounded shape of the golden menorah, because that is the shape that we associate with the emblem of the State of Israel. But there is another opinion that actually the branches of the menorah would emerge straight out of the central shaft. It's a fascinating topic to look into further, especially when you consider that both of these designs exist in our records throughout history. Verse 37, V'asisa es neroseha shiva, you shall make its 7 lamps, V'he'ela es neroseha v'he'ir al ever paneha, and he shall kindle its lamps so as to give light towards its face. Verse 38, Umalkacheha umachtoseha zahav tahor, its tongs and its spoons shall be made of pure gold. Verse 39, Kikar zahav tahor ya'aseh osa, es kol hakelim ha'ele, all these items shall be made from a talent of pure gold. A kikar is a biblical unit of weight, often translated as a talent, and it's roughly 30 to 35 kilograms worth of gold. So that's roughly worth about £2 million worth of gold. And finally, verse 40, Urei va'aseh b'savni sam asher ata ma'er baha, see that you make them according to the design that you are shown on the mountain. And that brings us to the end of chapter 25. There is so much more that we can talk about with this, and I look forward to being able to talk more about this soon with you. As we enter into chapter 26, we will talk about the coverings of the Mishkan and the walls of the Mishkan, and I look forward to learning that chapter with you soon. In the meantime, have a wonderful and meaningful day.